What's up, everybody? Welcome back to BTM, to the Basketball Time Machine, the podcast for true old school NBA fans. Before we get to our guest, just a little reminder, if you want to hear more podcasts like this one, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will say boom shakalaka. Today's guest is a former NBA player, Dontell Jefferson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Dontell, are you still watching NBA basketball?
I still follow a little bit. I kind of catch it when I'm laying in the bed and things like that. And I like to watch LeBron. I love to watch Kyrie. A lot of my favorite guys aren't playing anymore, so try to keep up as much as I can.
Okay. Do you have a favorite team at the moment?
I don't, man. It's kind of hard to have a favorite team when that's kind of your job a little bit. Growing up, I was a big Chicago Bulls fan, so I guess if I had to pick, stick with a team, it'll be the Bulls.
Okay. But let me guess, your favorite player was Michael Jordan.
He was. He
actually
was. As I got older and I got into college, and after college, my favorite player was Gilbert Arenas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was my favorite player. I wanted to be like him so much. The only thing that I didn't do well was, shoot like him, handling the ball, but I was, explosive like him and everything else, but couldn't got good to that level. But he was a guy that I watched a lot, even on game days and things like that.
Okay. I was about to ask you who your favorite player of all time is, so you would stick with Gilbert Arenas or MJ?
Mike. That'll be Michael Jordan.
Okay, right answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you had your NBA debut in 2009, but you weren't drafted. How did this happen? Just take me through it.
I went undrafted out of college. I actually I averaged maybe 3 points and like 5 assists as a senior at the University of Arkansas. And I got with an agent who kind of convinced me to go into the NBA G League, which were the D League back then. And just over the course of 3 years, I kind of, just got better at doing the things that I was told that either I needed to work on or people thought that I couldn't do well and stuff like that. And I did. I won a D League championship my rookie year. My second year, I did training camp with Memphis and went back to the D League and had a stint overseas. Then I went back to the D League again, got traded to a team, and then that kind of allowed me to show my ability of playing the point guard majority of the time instead of splitting it like I did my first 2 years, and I was able to get the call up.
All right. Was it always your dream to make it to the NBA?
No. Man, I started playing basketball at maybe organized at the age of 10. Prior to that, I would just play out in the yard with my friends and things like that. But I wanted to be an NFL quarterback, man. I wanted to be Joe Montana. Football was my first love, man, and it kind of died out the more I, started playing basketball.
So, in other words, you made it to the NBA by accident.
I won't say accident, but it's definitely not what I seen as a kid growing up. Everything about me was football up until high school, so it kind of just a mind switch.
Okay. How can I imagine everything worked? Did you get a phone call, somebody calling you, telling you, hey, Dontell, get your stuff ready, you're playing in the NBA tomorrow?
Yeah, I actually had a game that day. I was in the D League. I was in the D League, in Orem, Utah, playing for the Utah Flash at the time. And my agent called me at like 6 a.m, man. Crazy. And I was pissed off, man, because I'm not a big fan of being woken up out of my sleep.
Okay.
And I'm like going in on him, asking like, "White man, you calling me this early? Like what you want, man? I'm asleep. I got to shoot around in 2 hours." And he was like, "Man, just calm down." And it's like you can't play in the game tonight. But wouldn't tell me why. So this is still like making me real mad. And he just finally told me to just calm down. And he was like, "Charlotte gonna bring you in." He's like, "That's why you can't play." He said, "Congratulations." And man, it's an unbelievable feeling, man. It was humbling, emotional, like all those things going on at one time, to kind of just see, everything that you worked for up until that point, you kind of get rewarded for it.
I just try to imagine you're like half asleep and somebody coming up with those kind of news. That has to be
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I instantly woke up and couldn't go back to sleep. But yeah, it was huge, man. I got to shoot around, and everybody kind of already knew and congratulated me and things like that. So it was cool, man. It was, a blessing. It was a huge blessing. I
Absolutely.
actually, yeah.
So who was the first person you called?
My mom,
Of
man.
course.
I called my mom. We both crying, and she was in Georgia at the time, and so she was 2 hours ahead of me. So obviously she was up already, and we was both crying on the phone, and it was just a real emotional moment that kind of came through, man. Because my mom, she didn't want me to quit football at all.
Hmm.
She felt I was a better football player than basketball player, and I probably was at the time. But it kind of worked out.
All right. So you played for the Charter Bobcats. What were your expectations going into your first game?
Oh wow. What's funny? My situation is different. Like I was there for like a month before I even played, and I don't know what. Well, obviously we was like in the playoff hunt, and so we was trying to win those games to get that last seed, and so I really didn't expect to play at all. Coach K had kind of told me what the situation was, and he just told me to make sure I just keep working hard and things like that. Um, and I think Roger Bell ended up like getting hurt, and so when he got hurt, I was like, "Oh, I'm finna get ready to play." And no, I wasn't nervous. Like it felt like I felt like I belonged there, and I just went out there and just tried to do what I did well in the D League. Didn't do anything that I wasn't doing there, and that month kind of prepared me, I think, to where I wasn't just thrown in. I was able to get a couple of practice on my belt, see how things go, and kind of get a feel for the NBA style of play. And when I got out there, I just tried to make sure I took advantage of every minute that I got.
So your coach was Larry Brown.
Yeah,
According to him, did you play the right way?
I think so. He wasn't as hard on me as he was some of the other rookies. So I don't really know how to answer that. I tried to do everything that he asked me to do. Like he's really a perfectionist, and he's one of those coaches that he gets the most out of his players, and he knows how to do it. He's always on you, staying and make sure you staying encouraged and trying to do, trying to get not a good shot but a great shot. And that was one of the biggest things I learned from him. He's always trying to perfect what it is, even though there's no such thing as perfection.
Your team was pretty young at the time. You played with Gerald Wallace, Roger Bell, Boris Diaw, Jay Rich, Emeka Okafor. So, who of the players surprised you the most?
Um, I would say it's two players. Well, I will have to say three, but it was two veterans, Nazir Muhammad and Juwan Howard. Those guys have been all stars, been in the league more than 12 years already, but they came in and worked like they were first year and second year players, even at their age. And that was something that just kind of stood out to me on how you have to work, even though you kind of have an established career and things like that. And just seeing those guys get in the drills after practice with me and some of the younger guys, it was kind of just motivating, man, to actually see them doing it with you. And then Sagana Job, he kind of just took me on his wing. He would take me out to eat for lunch every day, man, and kind of just started showing me different ways of how to, eat right after practice and things like that. So those three guys were kind of, big, spelling from a veteran influence. And that's one of the main things I got from that.
Do you remember the feeling of scoring your first NBA bucket?
Yeah, I do. I came off a screen in Oklahoma City, and Kwame Brown was like guarding me, and I went by him and got a layup, and that was my first bucket.
Your first bucket
Um,
is on Kwame Brown.
my first bucket, man, and like I was so open. Like after I did it, I was like, man, I should have dunked the ball. Um, but it was it was cool. Like I couldn't really celebrate it like I wanted to, but just scoring that basket, it kind of just gives you a level of confidence. Like, okay, now I got my first bucket. Now let's play.
All right. So you played against a couple of NBA teams. Do you have like one opponent you would say, okay, that was your highlight game, or that team had one player on the roster who you admired, or it was just a special kind of game?
Yeah. So I would have to say it's two. My best game was my last game, and that was against Orlando. But the one that I take most pride in, I appreciate the most, is the one right before that against New Jersey, and I had to guard Vince Carter, and like it was, to me it was very very interesting because Vince Carter didn't kind of back down. He kind of took the challenge, and I guarded him, and he guarded me, and I respected it. Like it was the biggest accomplishment for me to actually go up against somebody who I watched when he was in college, and then now I'm playing against him, and now that he's not backing down from the challenge, it was good. Like the competition felt great. And then after the game, he kind of came up to me and just told me to make sure that I keep working. And he said that, if you work hard enough and you continue to work, he's like, man, you're going to be all right. And so that was kind of, reaffirming to, know that I was where I was needed to be at that time.
Your last NBA game was in 2009, right?
Right.
What have you done since? I heard you released a book. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Since then, I actually, man, a lot happened. I did release a book this past February, and it's called How to Make It to the NBA. It's the 100% truth about having little to no scholarship, coming from nowhere, and still making it to the biggest stage in basketball. And so my goal with that book is to not only inspire, youth athletes across the country, but just also everyday people that may be having trouble following their dreams. Like we all have to overcome things that come in our life. And so, this book is, it's a testimony to that and how I was able to achieve it and how other people can do it as well. And for the athletes, it's just all about trusting your own process. Like we're not all going to be drafted number one or, 60th in the NBA draft. We're not all going to make it to that Division I school out of high school or, throughout our career. So you just have to make sure that you on the right path and don't compare yourself to anybody else, and, use other people's success and kind of take what you can from those people and apply it to your life.
Okay, so you're keeping yourself busy.
I'm trying, man. That, and I started my motivational speaking business where I go out and speak to schools and different organizations about, them finding their MBA and whatever that is in their life, whether it's want to be a doctor, work with youth, write a book, have a podcast, anything that, that can be considered your MBA.
Yes, great to hear, man.
Thanks.
So my last question is also my favorite question. Name your top 5 ever.
Top 5 ever?
Yes. That's actually the part where everybody struggles and everybody really takes a deep breath and really needs to think about it.
Yeah. Number 1, Michael Jordan. 2, LeBron. 3.
I actually will beep the LeBron. So we'll be 1 is number 1 is Michael Jordan, 2 is beep, 3 is yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq is 4. Who's my last one? Who was somebody that I really like? Who's my 4th?
Man, you're leaving
I
so
don't
many
know.
legends of your top five, man.
Yeah, man, it's so many. Like it's so many, but I'm trying to just not
Magic, Larry
say
Bird,
names. Yeah, see,
Kareem.
I wasn't a Larry Bird fan. I didn't watch Kareem. Like I didn't really get to watch him. So like you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stick with, all the guys that I was really able to actually, watch and pay attention to. Um,
Hakeem Olajuwon.
yeah, man, it's that's tough. My last one, I think I would go with
Every time it's the
I
same.
mean,
Everybody
I was
struggles.
a big, I was a big I was a big Patrick Ewing fan, man. Like I like the Knicks, so I'm
Hey,
gonna
show
go
him
with
some
him.
love. That's actually that's nice.
Yeah,
Showing Patrick Ewing some love. Great, man. Well, it
yeah.
was nice talking to you. Yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad you had me on, man. And if you got any viewers out there, they can find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook at Dontell Jefferson. You can send me a DM if you got kids, anything, questions about basketball. Feel free to send me a message or anything like that. I'll be glad to respond to it. I'm also on Twitter, Dontell_J. Um, and you can find my book on my website at DontellJefferson.com.
All right, you guys. You heard it here first. Where you gonna find him? Thanks for listening. See you next time, guys.